Every soul with awakened sight is far more extraordinary than they have been told. What others mistake as imagination is actually a refined sensitivity to the unseen currents that shape reality. The reason doubt has clung to you is not because you were wrong. It is because the world has not yet caught up to the frequency you naturally live in. You do not simply notice changes before they surface. You carry the rare power to steer them into existence through the force of unwavering intent. What looked like delays or resistance were not punishment, but preparation, aligning you for a breakthrough that will silence every critic who underestimated your vision. There will always be a scene where you find yourself surrounded by people who only trust what their eyes can measure. They insist the world around them is fixed, calm, predictable. But while they cling to appearances, your awareness tunes into dimensions beyond their grasp. Where they see permanence, you detect movement. Where they believe the ground is solid, you recognize the subtle tremors announcing transformation. When that inner signal grows undeniable, hesitation falls away. You step forward and speak, not from logic or statistics, but from a deeper certainty that flows through your very being. The words you release carry a weight they cannot dismiss, no matter how hard they try to laugh them off. Authority radiates from you, even when they do not yet understand you're not here by chance. Feel the pull. Tap join to unlock truth, purpose, and the tribe that gets it. This is more than a membership, it's your calling. To them, your declarations sound impossible. They question your sanity, convinced that their orderly world will not bend to your foresight. Yet it is precisely in their resistance that your gift becomes visible. Their disbelief only sharpens your clarity, because you are not waiting for proof. You are proof. This is why your path is not for the faint-hearted. It demands courage to stand in a crowd that mocks, to hold steady while they call you reckless or naive. But the irony is this: while they anchor themselves to the surface, you are already moving in the direction where the tide is about to surge. When the shift arrives, as it always does, the very voices that doubted you will be forced into silence. They will see that what they dismissed as fantasy was actually foresight. In that moment, your strength will not be defined by being right. It will be defined by never abandoning your inner compass, even when it cost you acceptance. Understand this. Your journey is not simply about surviving skepticism, but about embodying the unstoppable truth that the unseen becomes visible through those brave enough to declare it first. You are not reacting to the world. You are shaping it. That is the essence of your calling, and nothing can strip it from you. You are the kind of spirit that carries sight into places where others refuse to look. Your voice rises with certainty when you sense turning points that the surface world has not yet revealed, whether in paths of work, matters of the heart, or seasons of personal growth. Yet instead of appreciation, the moment you unveil your vision, a storm of ridicule bursts open. The smiles that once seemed supportive twist into smirks of doubt, and whispers that question your stability travel through groups that once sought your wisdom. It always plays out with the same intensity. Bursts of laughter ricochet like thunder through the crowd, drowning the gravity of your words. What to them feels like casual entertainment is to you a piercing reminder that they would rather mock what they cannot grasp than expand their narrow sense of possibility. The dismissal does not stop with strangers. It trickles through communities, families, and colleagues who suddenly turn your foresight into a spectacle they cannot take seriously. In those tense encounters, they lean on visible signs and point toward present circumstances as proof that your warnings are empty. They gather around what they believe is solid, never noticing how fragile their reliance on appearances really is. What they overlook is that these moments are not accidents. They are the recurring design of your journey, a repeated crossroad where you are asked to declare what you know while everyone else clings to illusions of stability. Time and again, you have been the one who senses what is invisible and speaks it out loud, while those around you only measure what can be weighed or touched. You deliver guidance that seems detached from what is in front of them, and yet your confidence never falters. The stillness inside you is unshaken by their doubts, because you already carry the blueprint of what is about to unfold. Their scoffing is not evidence of your error. It is a signal of a deeper disconnection. Their resistance is simply the reaction of a mind that has not yet tuned into the channel where your knowing flows. The sound of disbelief is the echo of a frequency gap, not the proof of your delusion. Every cutting remark, every patronizing smile, every attempt to frame your insight as foolishness is nothing more than the predictable defense of those unprepared to witness a reality that challenges their limited vision. They are not rejecting you. They are shielding themselves from truths that demand they rethink everything they thought was secure. And while they may not see it now, those very moments of ridicule become the markers of your distinction. For you do not bend to their denial. You stand in the unshakable space of inner alignment, knowing that your awareness does not require their approval. You were not designed to echo the collective blindness. You were chosen to reveal the horizon that others will only recognize once it arrives. If your heart overflows with God's blessings, let that love shine. Click the super thank you button and give $50 or more to plant seeds of faith that will impact countless lives. Your generosity reflects His abundance. Be a vessel of His grace and watch His kingdom flourish through you. In the end, the contrast becomes undeniable. The louder the lies, the clearer the truth shines. While they attempt to manufacture chaos, your authentic presence becomes the unshakable evidence of integrity. You do not need to defend yourself through words. The way you live speaks louder than any claim ever could. The unraveling of deception does not stop there. The more frantic their efforts, the more others begin to step back, questioning motives and seeing through the disguises. What was intended to damage you instead turns into a revelation of who truly operates with integrity and who relies on manipulation. And through it all, you continue walking forward, untouched by the noise. You remain unbothered not out of indifference, but out of wisdom, knowing that truth requires no frantic defense. The chaos burns itself out, while your calm endurance leaves behind a lasting impression. Genuine character cannot be rewritten, and no campaign of lies can ever erase it. The strength of your presence leaves an imprint so distinct that even those who attempt to oppose you find themselves unable to detach. Your calm, your joy, and your alignment radiate in ways that create a pull stronger than their hostility. When you no longer provide access to that field, the absence itself becomes unbearable, and their longing to reconnect exposes the depth of their dependency. Patterns emerge where dependence is disguised as conflict. The hostility was never born of dislike, but of an inability to control the bond they feel toward you. When your energy is no longer freely available, the lack feels like withdrawal. Their fixation is less about you and more about the access they can no longer command, but the obsession speaks louder than any accusation. Attempts to re-enter your life appear, cloaked in gestures of peace. Words of reconciliation are spoken, but the foundation is hollow. You recognize the trap, the cycle disguised as resolution, and decline to re-engage. This refusal does not come from bitterness, but from wisdom. The lessons of betrayal are not forgotten, and repeating them would only reopen wounds already healed. Even when apologies or promises appear genuine, you know how to distinguish sincerity from performance. Your ability to maintain compassion while enforcing boundaries keeps you protected. You do not close your heart, but you guard it with discernment, leaving space only for transformation that proves itself through action, not words. You recognize that rescuing those who refuse to take responsibility only entangles you in the storms they create. By stepping back, you keep your energy clean and your relationships ethical. Those who are doing their own work naturally gravitate toward you, while those unwilling to face their own chaos spiral further into consequences they cannot escape. The cycle of defeat grows heavier for your detractors because they refuse accountability. Instead of evolving, they repeat old patterns and direct blame toward you when their lives unravel. Their insistence on avoiding responsibility turns every step into another stumble, amplifying their own downfall. Meanwhile, you continue forward with clarity. You carry no need to defend yourself, no desire to prove anything. The energy you embody speaks louder than any scheme, and the longer you remain centered in truth, the clearer it becomes. Their fixation is a symptom of their collapse, while your strength is proof of a path they cannot replicate. The unfolding of events makes one truth impossible to deny. Your life continues to expand, even as chaos consumes those who plotted against you. While setbacks multiply in their world, your path remains filled with breakthroughs, recognition, and blessings. The contrast between collapse and elevation makes it clear that integrity carries power no scheme can dismantle. Every choice you make to stay aligned with your values creates acceleration in your favor. Refusing to retaliate or descend into bitterness keeps your energy open to growth, while those who indulge in destructive cycles fall deeper into their own traps. The difference in outcomes is not coincidence, but the natural result of momentum diverging in opposite directions. As time passes, reputations fracture in ways that cannot be repaired. No amount of crafted statements, apologies, or stage performances can undo what has been revealed. Once trust has been broken, it is rarely restored, and the stains left behind mark them permanently. Invitations disappear, doors close, and entire circles distance themselves. Their names become reminders of betrayal, whispered with caution and avoidance. Associations built on deception disintegrate, and opportunities vanish as credibility erodes. While their presence draws suspicion and unease, your presence is met with respect and admiration because consistency has proven the truth of your character. The same voices that once echoed lies now carry the weight of their own exposure. Communities recognize the imbalance between your conduct and theirs, and perception shifts permanently. What was intended to tarnish your reputation only serves to polish it, making it clear that you stood firm while others abandoned honor. Respect for you does not come from image management, but from years of authentic behavior. The way you handled attacks, without lowering yourself to their level, becomes part of your legacy. Observers acknowledge the quiet strength it takes to endure without retaliation, and that recognition builds your reputation further. The final outcome is unmistakable. While others fade into obscurity or isolation, you rise into greater influence. Your story becomes a lesson in what cannot be destroyed. Integrity lived consistently, regardless of external storms. And as they watch their own choices carve their downfall, you continue walking a path that only grows brighter. And still, something deeper resists. That inner compass refuses to bend toward the crowd's consensus. You feel its pull in the silence, an invisible thread drawing you back to trust even when appearances scream betrayal. It does not demand proof, it only demands faith. The tension lies in the contrast, your inner conviction against the outward appearance of stagnation. This clash tests more than your patience. It challenges the very core of your identity. Will you believe the voices around you, or the resonance within you that has never failed, even when misunderstood? In the end, this struggle is not simply about predicting outcomes. It is about proving to yourself that your strength lies not in what you see with your eyes, but in what you know with your spirit. And though the world may declare you mistaken, the persistence of that inner certainty is already the proof that you are not. Your utterances are not idle expressions. They are instruments that carve reality into form. What many overlook is that the very act of speaking carries the momentum of creation. Each phrase that leaves your lips does more than describe what is unseen. It sets into motion forces that arrange themselves to match the vibration of your declaration. This is not about waiting for validation. It is about realizing that your words themselves are the architects of what is to come. The hidden strength of your path is revealed when you understand that speaking vision is not passive observation, but active design. Every statement released into the atmosphere becomes a blueprint, invisible yet binding, that directs the unfolding of events. Where others hear only language, the universe hears command. Where others hear speculation, life itself receives instruction. This is why the discipline of your tongue holds immeasurable importance. To waver, to contradict yourself, to dilute your certainty would be to weaken the very structure of what you are building. Consistency in declaration is not stubbornness. It is alignment with the creative current that courses through you. In holding your word steady, you hold the world steady until it bends into the shape of your vision. During seasons of preparation, your speech carries even greater potency. In the silence before manifestation, the resonance of your voice works like hidden seeds planted beneath the soil. Others may dismiss those seeds as emptiness, but you know they will germinate in time, breaking through with undeniable force. Each syllable you release is a seed of inevitability, already alive though not yet visible, while those around you laugh, suggesting that you confuse fantasy with reality. You are engaged in a work far deeper than their comprehension. Their ridicule cannot stop the process, because every dismissal only emphasizes the contrast between their disbelief and your unwavering command. What they interpret as delusion is, in fact, a kind of mastery they have not awakened to. This is why the testing of your voice matters. It is easy to speak when supported, but it is only in the face of scorn that you truly prove the weight of your declarations. To keep affirming, even when mocked, is to demonstrate that you are not reacting to circumstances. You are shaping them. That resilience becomes the proof that your authority is not borrowed but intrinsic. In the end, your speech is more than communication, it is creation. The outcomes you envision are not simply awaited, they are summoned. And as you continue to release your words with intention, the unseen aligns itself, the visible shifts, and your voice reveals itself as the very brush that paints the future into existence. The remarkable truth about this stage is that while others treat your foresight as exaggeration, you quietly engage in deliberate action, shaped by inner instruction. Their routines remain ordinary, their confidence rooted in appearances. Yet you feel an undeniable summons to gather tools, ideas, and strength in ways they cannot comprehend. Your steps may look unusual from the outside, but within you, every move carries the rhythm of destiny. This phase is not idle waiting, it is alignment. As your awareness deepens, you do more than anticipate. You participate. Each decision becomes part of a larger choreography, a pattern unfolding with precision. What others dismiss as overpreparation is, in reality, the sacred work of cooperating with forces unseen, weaving strands of the future into the present moment. You are not simply noticing signs. You are shaping pathways. Your preparation functions like the work of an architect who drafts structures long before foundations appear. Every task, no matter how small, feels guided, purposeful, and urgent, as though the unseen is pressing its design into your hands, insisting you make ready for what is approaching. While they mock or shrug, you organize, build, and collect. Your behavior defies their logic because it is not born from logic, it is born from transmission. What flows into your consciousness is not guesswork but instruction, not speculation but direction. Their laughter echoes, but you hear something far greater, a call that leaves no room for hesitation. The urgency you feel is not panic, it is clarity. It tells you where to focus, what to gather, and how to act, even when no visible justification exists. That inner current drives you forward, steady and precise, carrying you through the motions of preparation with a discipline they cannot yet respect. Every movement, every choice in this season serves as a declaration of trust. You are not preparing because evidence demands it. You are preparing because alignment requires it. This distinction separates you from those who wait passively for proof. You do not wait. You construct. You do not hope vaguely. You position with certainty. And though the world cannot yet see the shape of what is forming, your preparation ensures that when it arrives, you will stand ready, not by accident, but by design. This is the mystery they cannot grasp. Your readiness is not coincidence. It is creation in progress, carried out through your obedience to the unseen instructions flowing through your spirit. You carry within you a resilience that cannot be shaken, a kind of strength that reveals itself most clearly when tested. The moment of trial has shown that even in the fiercest storms, your essence remains untouched, not because the winds stop blowing, but because they cannot penetrate the core of who you are. What protects you is not your own frantic defense, but a shield woven from a higher source that operates without your command. This realization transforms the way you take your next steps. Fear of hidden schemes loses its grip, for you've seen how easily they collapse under their own weight. The need to prove your worth evaporates, because your very journey carries its own undeniable testimony. The shadows others cast cannot bind you, for light dissolves them effortlessly. Those who tried to obstruct your path ended up serving a different role altogether. Without intending it, they became the backdrop that highlighted the unbreakable thread of your protection. Their resistance turned into a demonstration that what is destined for you carries a safeguard that awakens the moment it's challenged. The lesson embedded here is profound. Some lives are wrapped in a covering that cannot be calculated or explained. What was meant to undo you instead became the evidence that you walk with a kind of assurance that transcends explanation. The very opposition proved your path is guarded beyond the reach of human interference. Now, as others sit among the ruins of their own designs, the horizon opens for you in fresh color. You step into a chapter marked by boldness, not hesitation, by the clarity that your journey has already been tested in fire and come forth intact. The strength you carry is not theoretical anymore. It's been measured against real hostility and proven indestructible. That history becomes fuel for confidence, reminding you that the forces that sought your fall have only underlined your rise. And so, you move forward with the awareness that those who once aimed to diminish you have instead become silent markers of your unshakable covering. They serve not as threats, but as reminders of the protection that escorts you, unseen yet unstoppable, into everything ahead.